All right, guys. So it's gonna be me and Blast today. Arthur's not feeling that well, so he's gonna, take the night off a little bit and rest. But there is so much to go over. Really talking about the future of crypto right now. Um, I mean, like, wow, wow! What an eventful past couple weeks. And I think, before we dive into the meat and potatoes, um, I just kind of want to point out one thing. Um, I notice this a lot too, not just with our community, but with everyone. And this is kind of like a, what retail does in a sense, but like we're keeping up with the Joneses, right? And we got to stop doing that. meaning, meaning this, like if I'm absolutely hot on meme coins, while you guys are all doing something else, and then you decide to come later on into the hot narrative or the hot run or whatever, or when meme coins are in the limelight, you're most likely at the end of that. Um, and at that point, like I said, like good things don't last forever, always. Um, so keep that in mind and focusing on on a certain sector all at once. If you're going to do every sector, then you need to be there 365 days out of the year, and not just when it's hot. Because we see it from time to time again. This is like a big top signal for me. and yeah, and it's just like, and honestly, like, it's just to protect yourself, to be honest. But yeah, let's get into it, man. Let's get into it. Libra. If you guys don't know, or in case you guys are literally living under a rock or just have no idea what's going on in crypto, the Argentina on Valentine's Day, the Argentinian president retweet or posted about Libra token, right? He actually posted it. It wasn't a hack or anything. So he posted it, and it starts going insane, right? But some things to keep in mind. There was only 15% of the supply circulating. They had the rest of it in one other wallet. There was no confirmation of a locked supply or a burnt supply. So it had around over 80% held in one wallet. You know, I I decided to try to scalp it. I did. I got out unscathed, made a little bit of money, whatever. But for the majority of crypto Twitter, it was probably one of the biggest rugs and liquidity events in the meme coin space, or the biggest one this year for sure. And then once that happened, once it started tanking, through this whole time, this is like within a time span of 30 minutes. Javier Milei, the president of Argentina, retweeted what he posted, and then he also pinned it. And then the more it started tanking, like you just see it, it's like rapid dumping from like 4 billion to 300 million within like an hour. And that's market cap. But and then he deletes his tweets. And then the witch hunt ensues. All the speculation, this and that, yada yada yada. And then yesterday, this guy Hayden came on, who is part of this, or has this company called Kelnier Ventures or something like that. And he's the one that kind of like facilitated this launch. And basically he goes online, talks like a total idiot, incriminating himself. He is holding, I think they walked away with $100 million. He's holding $100 million in his wallet from the launch. He doesn't know what to do with it. People are really up in arms about it. He said a bunch of stupid stuff. He he also exposed a lot, not exposed, but like he also quote unquote like ratted a bunch of people out, like who were the insiders, who was a part of his team, who was involved, this and that. A lot of admission to a lot of things. So it's like it's been unfolding in real time. I've never seen crypto Twitter. I've never seen this worse of a sentiment, even in the bear market. Like it's pretty bad right now. And I think this was like a catalytic event to, the end of the Solana casino. In a sense, I think from now on, I think there's going to be some, and not by governments. I think you're going to start to see companies kind of regulate themselves better from this. And you're going to see, a bunch of different stuff implemented. But yeah, I think this was like kind of like the straw that broke the camel's back. You know that saying?
But what's the difference with that Millet and Trump coin? And what's the difference between Millet, Trump coin, and Haktua? You know what I mean? Like you see the pattern. It's there. Everybody's like, yeah, you guys are crooks. You guys stealing money, and they still out there
So
not getting incriminated.
So Javier, interesting enough, that Hayden guy is actually linked to the Melania token too, and the Trump token. What? Dude, what?
And the Melania token too.
His name
Yes.
is Hayden. Javier Milei is the president of Argentina. What? Sorry about that, guys. But yeah.
The correlation between all those coins. What's going on? Like it's common.
Yeah. So this was like, this to me was just like a huge elaborate scam from one team, because they found linked wallets from Melania to Libra, and then you could only speculate that it's probably linked to Trump, since like they had similar mechanics in how they launched. But it's a wild thing that we're seeing right now, man. I mean, this random kid Hayden that I've never heard of or seen for in the crypto space coming on, basically throwing presidents under the bus, throwing all these like huge DeFi protocol bosses under the bus, this and that. The whole Dave Portnoy thing. And another shitty thing is like he refunded Dave Portnoy and didn't refund anybody else in this launch. So there's that drama. Libra's, I think Dave is trying to play a dumbass online, but he knew exactly what was going on the whole time. And I think like all this celebrity stuff, like you saw last cycle, dude, when celebrities started getting into the space like this, started dropping their tokens, all this scammy stuff, all of them rug, by the way, all this scammy stuff starts open. It's like signaling a top in that area. But yeah, that's my take. I think you're going to see, as far as like the Hawk Tua thing, how that played out was like, obviously the Hawk Tua one is where I truly believe Haley just had no idea whatsoever what was going on. Just thought it was a good idea at the time, and I think a team approached her and just took advantage of her fame. Yeah, I mean, you could just blatantly tell that doesn't have a nefarious bone in her body, and to me is obviously super, super, super naive to the crypto world. But the team that was a part of the Hawk 2, I think same thing, man. I mean, it's just a huge bundled up scheme that they do. And yeah. Yeah, a lot of sketchy stuff for sure. Hawk 2 girl is on Interpol's most. Is she really? Oh, and by the way, like, just so you know, the opposing party in Argentina is trying to impeach Javier over this too. Like, I don't think he's gonna get out scot-free. I think, and you know what's crazy too? Today, I don't know if you guys saw today, but this fucking guy retweets instructions on how to buy Libra today, and it takes it down again. It's uh, um, I'm at a loss for words. Like I said, man, I think we're at the point where the Sol Casino, or trenching as you speak. I don't think it's going to fully go away. I just think it's seen its days right now, and I think that the narrative is definitely going to shift. Um, but yeah, so what I think is going to happen, I think people are just so fed up with it too. They're going to start rotating back into into projects that are actually building, or smaller projects that have like a good product, and try to support them instead of like quote unquote super vaporous shit coins that drop every second, that where they just see volume going into and trading that. That's where I think the attention might go. But even then, I think the play here is just focusing on old reliables and good alts, right? So like your bonks, your Doge coins, um, and then like I said, really good alts like Ondo, Hyperliquid, um, just to name a couple off the top. But yeah, I think that's where we're at right now. Um, but yeah, Blast, what were you saying about like what's the? You said you had another question about it.
No, I'm just saying like the correlation between all four of them is it's so weird. And reading for example what June Sophia was saying in the chat room, like Haktua is out there getting incriminated and everything, and then the presidents are just, yeah, it's just another coin. I
Yeah.
guess the regulation goes that far, at that point it's like, yeah, it's public, it's your fault to lose money. It's like it's your fault to be promoting this thing, you
I
know.
think I
Um,
personally think um, I personally think you're going to see not even a. I mean, you're already seeing the witch hunt in crypto, but I think within Argentina itself, you're going to see a witch hunt, right? I mean, I'm willing to bet that I mean, obviously Javier is already getting investigated. They want to impeach
yeah,
him. I think they like sent like a formal impeachment something
yeah,
to get the
yeah.
proceedings going. Uh, but yeah, I mean the fact that he retweeted instructions on how to buy the token today was I don't know. I'm really scratching my head at this one.
But nothing happens. What if I do it?
Yeah,
No, nothing will happen to me.
yeah,
If
yeah.
nothing happened to the most powerful man on earth, the president of the United States, whoever it is, could be Trump, could be Biden, could be anybody, but it's the most powerful man. Nothing happened, so it won't happen anything to us. That's the thing. Is it the law? Is it for everyone, or is it just for few? That's why this is all getting
Yeah.
insane. Now, I understand that what the coins can help. I understand that. I think Millet it's a great, let's say, advocate of let's try to make the best for reserves in our country, because Argentina is all screwed up. Nobody wants to invest in Argentina. So by making the dollar there, it's kind of like when you go for Chapter 11, like you get a raise and let's move on. It's like, no, that's not how it works, man.
Hmm.
It's a whole country. Like even if you put the dollar there, or the bricks or whatever, you still have debt, bro. And same to the US. That's the main issue to me as well. I mean, what we're getting into, and I think we are in a great point in history. It's all this territorial wars that we have with Ukraine, with Trump saying like, "Oh, Mexico, Canada, and Greenland, and all that stuff." It has a meaning. They all have a meaning, and the meaning is
Hmm.
that if we can create those sectors as reserves, for us to send money abroad, we kill the crypto. We will kill XRP solution. We will kill the Bitcoin. We'll kill Solana, Ethereum. We will kill them all. But that's the thing. Crypto is unbreakable. It's unbreakable. It's there, like in front of us, that countries are getting afraid, and that's making them. And I think more like with the Canada and Mexico thing, and the tariffs and all the stuff, it was more like, let me talk to these guys first, but my main issue is China. My main issue is not Mexico and Canada. My main issue is China. So if I can tell these guys, say, hey, well, I'm going to give you tariffs, because these guys, Canada and Mexico, believe it or not, and I deal with this like every single day, there's so many crooks in the US, companies in the US, that use the borders as a way to pay less tariffs and less taxes by bringing products from these countries. So if, let's put it this way, if you say you sell solar panels, which is a renewable energy, right?
Yeah.
And you buy it from China. If you buy it from China and you're in the US and you're selling solar panels in the US, let's say you pay 20% tariff coming in China to US. If your solar panels go to Canada, they pay only 5% tariff from China to Canada. Now, the issue for a US company is how do I get them from Canada to here? Now, Canada only gets charged 5%. So at the end of the day, I only pay 10% if I go through Canada and then US. Now, who's hurting that route, that economical route? The same US company. Because the US company says, hey, why would I get it from China straight from me? Why I just not create a company in Canada? It doesn't have to be illegal. It's just a company that is going to receive my panels, and they're going to send it through the US. I only pay 10%. So I can sell more. And that's when Trump goes like, well, why we don't make solar panels in the US then? It's like, well, there's so many ways that you're not going to win against China, because there's so many crooks around you that they're allowing you to bypass the system.
Yeah.
It's simple, right? It's so simple. So that's why when they go like, and Mexico as well, Mexico and Canada. Now, when he went to Canada and said, hey guys, it's not Canada. The problem is not Canada. The problem is that Canada is allowing companies in the US have companies in Canada, and they be able to receive anything, any product. That what happened to Temu, what happened to Shane, all those guys, they were doing that route, or they were doing Mexico route. So wait a second, there's a police right here, which is the US. You need to come to these ports. They said, no, why would I go into this port? It's 20% tariff. I go through this port's 5% and 5% in.
Yeah.
It's that simple. Now, who's to blame? The companies in the US. It's the companies in the US.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the countries around the US that they're allowing them to do it. They make money, man. Why not? I'll let you go through my house if you want to go to the backyard. If they charging you $20 from the outside, but if you go through my house, I'll charge you $5. Why not? You know what I mean?
Yep.
So I think there's more to it. And then Greenland, it's more like the same way, the economical route of bringing stuff and be bigger than Russia. Just be bigger than Russia. So yeah, that I think going into what your expertise, which is like Web3 and crypto. Crypto is a monster that is like right there. It's unbreakable, man. And whatever they do, BRICS is going away. They say, no, it's not gonna work. Now, all what's happening right now, trying to come up with a better dollar and all this stuff. Remember that what we have, and when I say we, is the U.S. We have the how do I put this? Like the benefit of being the strongest coin out there, the dollar, because what happened in the Second World War. You know, we're about to be like an anniversary for that. So it's like because you won that war, you can have the strongest coin. But go ahead and check how much debt has US. It's insane, man. It's insane how much debt. But they
You're
just
saying
created it
death
out
or
of thin
death?
air.
Oh, debt.
Death. Yeah. Death. Yeah.
Okay.
The US death. I mean, if you go see national death, it's every single day, it's insane. And they're not gonna be able to pay it. So
Yeah.
increasing the debt ceiling is just keep increasing that. I don't care. Nobody's charging me. Nobody can charge me, and
Speak of
that's fucked up. Crypto
speaking
is
of
saying like, no, no, no.
dude. Speaking of speaking of crazy crypto stuff. If you thought the Argentina shit stopped there, or the whatever the crazy stuff in crypto stopped at Argentina, think again. I think this flew,
No.
but that Argentina thing was so big, a lot of this flew under people's radar. There was actually some Chinese man burnt 500 ETH. So so 500 ETH is what, like a few $1 million or something like that, maybe a lot more. Um, and basically put a suicide note on chain. And he said a bunch of crazy stuff. How like China was like brainwashing him through like a brain chip and everything. I want to, yeah, I want to read it, kind of. Yeah, he goes, "Hi," and this was and he sent this to WikiLeaks donate. So it's gonna be put. So I don't know if WikiLeaks posts it, but yeah, he donated. Well, essentially burnt 500 ETH to this for this. Hi, I'm Hu Lizzie, an ordinary programmer and entrepreneur since October 2022. I realize I have been monitored and manipulated by the mind control organization since I was born. When I realized the existence of mind control organization, they also increased their harm to me. I've been very painful. It's pretty broken English, so bear with me. I've been very painful in the past 2 years. Now I have completely lost my dignity as a human being. I've decided to leave this world and hope that this ugly world will be destroyed soon. Brain computer chips have been deployed militarily on a large scale. All military powers are using base stations, radios, and nano brain computer chips to control all citizens. As the brain computer interface and mind reading technology keeps developing, there is a new mode of crime in which wild animals become puppets or complete slaves to the digital machine. There is a new mode of crime in which a victim is gradually deprived of his senses of desire until he becomes a complete slave to the digital machine. And if one day I become a victim of the final stage, I will leave the world. Yeah, so this was a Chinese, I believe a Chinese citizen or whatever. He lives in China, and he burnt 500 ETH to put this message on chain. And yeah, I mean, I didn't really follow up on it though. I don't know if this guy, went through whatever he was saying, or whatever the case may be. It's pretty fresh and pretty new, but that happened today, and that was pretty crazy. Yeah, it, this world is really getting to be. I don't know, man. Like, I'll tell you one thing too. My propaganda on my TikTok is totally different here in Mexico than when I'm in the U.S. You know, I hate to say it too, but the U.S. depicts this place as a war zone. Um, but granted, I'm in Playa del Carmen, right? But man, I still see a lot of American tourists here, a lot of Canadian tourists, yada yada yada. Going about their merry way. Everything's business as usual. But yeah, and then, however, did you see that the Mexican Senate approved U.S. Special Forces to come into the country? That
No,
happened
man.
today.
Wow.
That happened today too.
Yeah,
You know
that doesn't show here, man.
what happened?
That shows that show here shows it, man. That's why.
Yeah.
That's not news here. It's big
Uh,
news there. So
yeah. A couple more crypto things, guys. I kind of want to talk. I know we have a lot of Dave Portnoy fans in here, and I just want you to listen. I'm not saying don't be. I like Dave Portnoy's content. I really do. I like the one bite pizza, everything, but like he does have a shitty crypto history. Okay, say what you will, he does. He has a scumbag crypto history. He's when it comes to SafeMoon, and then this jail stool shit, and then him promote, and then like literally blatantly getting on saying I'm gonna dump these coins on you, and you guys still go into these coins and still get wrecked. Graham goes, fuck Dave, crypto scumbag. Graham was Dave's biggest fan literally a day ago or 2 days ago. But this guy has a pattern, all right? This guy has a history of crypto, and it's not a good one, okay? If you think he's going to stay loyal to one token, he's not, okay? Jailstool is not the only token he's going to promote. You've seen it again. He's promoting different coins after and after and after. Surely enough, everything that he's a part of, to me, is going to go to zero. Yeah, I mean, that's my thoughts on Dave. So just be careful if you're trying to chase his trades and stuff like that. Another thing you got to be aware of: OpenSea airdrop is coming up. There's a lot of FUD surrounding it. I don't know if you guys remember, but when Blur was doing their airdrop, they were doing this whole bidding thing to earn points for the airdrop, right? So people would farm NFT bids, and it really tanked the NFT market pretty bad. OpenSea decided to copy that exact method just now. They're getting a lot of hate for it. So when that airdrop comes, what I'm going to personally do is I'm going to sell it right away. I've lost faith in that platform entirely. Just letting you know what I plan on doing with that airdrop in case you ask me. I'm probably not going to change my mind on that. I'm selling those tokens right away. FTX payments, they begin tomorrow. So hopefully that brings in some liquidity back into the market, because right now there really isn't any inflow of new money. And right now all you're seeing is just liquidity being swished around with each other. And that's kind of not a good thing. And we need good big catalysts to happen to get some new money in here. For things to look brighter, for me personally. Also, if you must know, Hyperliquid now offers BTC Spot. So if you want to buy BTC on Hyperliquid, you can. You guys know how much I love Hyperliquid. I want to talk about another airdrop too that a lot of you guys completely just faded. And, it's going to be a really giant airdrop, actually. I think they're saying it was going to be one of the largest wealth creation airdrops ever, even after Hyperliquid somehow. Is Kato. I posted this Kato airdrop in the airdrops channel, and then there's rumors that those Kato, they're called yaps, and that's what your airdrop allocation is most likely going to be, are selling for $250 a share over the counter. I've seen for $100, $250. It's crazy. So even if you had 36 yaps that everyone normally got for that airdrop, I don't know. I'm not saying that's how much each token is going to be when it launches, but I don't know. It could be a good amount of money. But it looks like they're going to be launching on Base, and it looks like it's going to be a huge airdrop. So be on the lookout for that if you participate. I don't think anybody did. I think everybody just ignored it. But, yeah. Anyways, also, we got some stuff going on in the chat right now. Oh, okay. Wait, never mind. It was Graham. But, yeah, Yuga Labs, who, Bored Ape Yacht Club, other side, they actually sold the MeBits IP, and they no longer own MeBits anymore. MeBits was a kind of it was a CryptoPunks project, and they sold the IP to MeBits, and yeah, I don't see MeBits going anywhere. But let's talk about before we go over into stocks, because I have a new stock that I fell in love with. You know how much I fell in love with Palantir. Um, I got something that I like a lot. I'm pretty sure you guys know already. Uh, but yeah, before we go into stocks, Blast, is there some stuff in crypto that you want to look at?
Yeah, I think we gave the weekly watch list for Nano XNO. There's an AMA in 2 days on X. So remember, guys, to check on those AMA. Ask me anything on X. Those are really good for crypto, especially for Web3. Um, I wish I was trying to look for a schedule for AMAs, but I couldn't find something that compiles them all. Because I know there was one for XRP the other day, and now this Nano, and I think there's another one that it's on the books that I have to check. But if I find, or if you guys find any schedule with AMAs on X, that'll be awesome to have to see when they're coming. But those are more like on the go. So like, let's do it next week, and then they just post this. So yeah, and then for the crypto, I mean, we know we're being on the technical parts. We're There's some days that we are above the T line. There's some days that we're below, like up and down, and you can see that it's been consolidating around it. So um, we need to be aware of what's happening. Trying to wait for that liquidity to coming into the market, um, but understand where we're coming from. We're coming from the 60,000s. So that's 60,000s on that fell breakdown. They were just waiting for us to sell all and get stopped out and then completely go to the upside. So yeah, it is a scalping season. Waiting for those below the T line. Remember that 1 hour we use for 144 or 4 hours on the 34. So that way you can use that. But yeah, it seems like every week we start below the T line. Looks like we're gonna start again. And that's that. We got Ondo cruising down the T line since the 13, 14, 15, 16, all of them below. And right now it's hitting 120 from the 135s. But it's not
Bla-
that much of a move, but yeah.
Can you share your screen if you're
Let me
looking
see
at
if I can
charts?
share. For some reason, my internet went out and I'm on my phone.
Oh, okay.
Um, but let's see if it goes through. Now, XNO I think has a great potential to the upside. But well, let's see. And we were looking at F. Let me know if you see my screen on the chart.
I can see it.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Yeah. I guess. Well, all right. Maybe it went back up. So this is the FTT token. So it's going. It's showing that it wants 260s, 267.8 is the close of this week, the open of this week. So imagine if we can get if we're impulsing that way, is because we want to engulf this bad week. So that's the impulse that they're trying to do. If you look it up in daily, it looks amazing to go between those two and try to get that resistance out and use this support in. So if you show this to Arthur, he will say, okay, Thanos is brewing right now. It's about to just boom, right?
Yeah.
But to me in this point, it's a coincidence that we're just going into this downtrend, and
Hmm.
we're just meeting everyone here, right? But it's similar to this point, when we have everything down, and all of a sudden we meet everyone here, and look what happened. This is insane runs out of this point. So
Mm.
it's similar to when we meet at those points,
Yeah.
when we meet at, right? So it's similar that if I show you a huge candle towards the 350s, you go like, yeah, I've seen that before. I've seen that before. I've seen it here from 140s to 250s, right? So we've seen that. We need to be ready. So far in crypto, I like that one. Like the XNO, of course. The XNO, we can just pull it up from here.
After
So what
X
I
and
do
O,
is,
can you do Solana after X and O?
yeah,
Devin was
yeah.
asking.
So on the when I get into the crypto, I kind of like click on the change to see who's running the most. And if I get any tags, I will check them first. So this were tags by me saying like has a great setup. And that way, like always, I can just click on that and he pulls it up all the way to here. So I can put up that and goes all the way to the upside. Um, but so far here, oh yeah, we got Grok that it was amazing run. Don't ever forget that because I think this thing is running nicely. This push down towards the T line looks nice. But remember that if it goes above the 34 and everything, it looks more potential, more probability that it will go up. But don't rule this name out because we had all this influx of money going in, and that this pullback, if you think about it, if you bought it here, this pullback is like, I'm about to lose everything, but I can still be in the trade, right? So if it pulls back and it goes up, then you're fine if you bought it here. But we're
Mm.
traders, so if we try to get it here or we try to short here, right? So I always like to look for the moments that I will be a short. So this would have been a nice short right here going into bounce and flush, right? Flush, try to go up, and then that's a nice flush. All
Mm.
these shorts are good. These guys are good. So this
Mm.
point, I will put an alert and say, hey, if you go above here, these guys are uncomfortable. Let's move on, right?
Mm.
And obviously, when we see this levels like that, we said this might be some support, right? And if I
Yeah.
break it, maybe I can do a breakdown, but my stop will be very close here. But these
Mm.
guys are like, yeah, you guys short more, excellent. Keep shorting. But remember, this is the point that big institutions wait for you to get stopped out to buy more. And when they buy really quick. So that way you can react. We can react. I'll put myself in it, right? Like they let's say it just drops, they buy because that's the moment that they need to get a lot of transactions in, and then they will keep rebuying and rebuying, and you're like, oh, now it bounced too much, so forget it, I don't watch it anymore, and then on the no, I'm not gonna watch it anymore. Those not watching anymore is like kind of like here, I'm not gonna watch it anymore, boom, all the way up. So so think about that in the Solana world, crypto. In the Solana world, I think it's the first thing I do in anything that if anybody asks me, or and I'm pretty sure you guys do now the same, that because I've been all the time saying the same thing. So I start with where I don't want to go into the year because they're only 2 months. I'll get the monthly chart. So in the monthly chart, I'll go like it's trading below this half, right? The previous half. So right now, if this thing was here, was is bearish. All the way down here is super bearish to me, right? So I'm biased on the bearish. Now weekly, I go, what is the moment that half tells me? So that half tells me that maybe they were trying to do something right here, right? Right here, half they broke out and they completely flushed. So that one would have been a nice upside, and I would think it will go to 320, and it completely broke and would have been stopped here. So it's very something broke around here. That double top, I wonder what they're trying to do, but yeah, I guess going back into what happened, it was all the way up here, that moment that they wanted to do this breakout all the way up to the
Mm.
upside.
So
So
that point, that tip, the tippy top of that buy candle, right, or that green candle,
mhm.
that's the Trump, launch, the Trump meme coin
Okay.
launch. Yeah.
So something went out there. And I'm glad you're here so that way you can tell me that's
Mm-hmm.
what happened. And something in the network did not add up to. So that could be the reason. I will be long above 200, and for now I stay short below the T line. So the T line on the daily, look at how we are trading below the T line, which is the ADMA, trading below,
Mm-hmm.
trading below. It's an amazing trade. some of our elites will say, oh yeah, that here would have been a nice
Short.
downside because it goes up, pulls back, and boom, and then we are trained to catch this shorts.
Yeah.
And we're so open in this chat room that we have explained this strategy on the open chat rooms and say, hey, you guys know dojis make the force, so that's a big resistance. Goes up and boom. Like if Simon is looking at this, it's like, oh my god, that was it. If Pika was looking at this, it's like that was it. You know, all those guys that are being trained every single day to look for this, that's a big short. Now,
Yeah.
looking at this on the daily, 40, I think there's a good moment that we probably can check for price discovery. And that funny price discovery, I should have just taken this one. The funny price discovery comes for us in this area. So price discovery is here. What is price discovery? It could go up and it could go down. It could go up and it could go down. And then all of a sudden it starts a trend and you're like, I couldn't catch the trend. It's so hard.
Mm.
But you know that this is the moment. So 180 it's a big point for Solana to come up and
Oh shit, Blast! I might have lost you. Did he cut out for you guys? Hello? Do you guys hear me? Bro, did our internet just go out? You sure? I just got everything just went out on me.
found it here. That Ichi right there. That's the Ichi impulse. And the Ichi, I mean, we've been so open and say, hey, if you break this half right here, you have an upside impulse. That my impulse can finish here. It's all your test around there. But hey, what if it doesn't, right? All the way up to the 100s. So this is the moment that it impulses it, and we need to hold these levels. Now, it is very bullish. In the moment right now, in the past few weeks, we know it's been bearish because we're below the T line on the weekly. But look at how that doji is. Doji is indecision. Doji is, I don't know what's going to happen. This doji is because it just started this week, I guess, right? Because it starts today or is about to start. So at that moment, we know like we're holding at something, but what is it? What's the catalyst in check all of them? Who's investing in what and who's adding to what? It's actually really good. So you can check, for example, Warren Buffett and which ones he has reduced since his last filings. This is one of the good companies that I like, new, and he reduced it by 50%. So that's giving me a sense of, hey, what happened? But look at this guy, Domino's Pizza, 86%, adding since the last filing. So why Domino's Pizza? What's going on with Domino's Pizza? Now, if we want to analyze Domino's Pizza the way we analyze stocks, we want to analyze it in the same sense. Look, monthly, super strong. The last 2 months, and then where we're heading, we're trading above this half. Why this half? Because I'm trading above the last negative red. Now, the other negative half, the red, is that part, right? And long and behold, if I leave it like this, I go, well, it just went down, goes up, goes back down, and it goes up. So that's a W there. So I'm like, oh, that's a freaking impulse. And that's my 50. So thinking about pulling out on the weekly, I go like, right there. It's right there. So after this filing that he put, that Domino's Pizza, and that he's been adding into this name could literally make you the whole year, all the way up to 622. The point is that we sometimes we trade options and we say, hey, how can I calculate options? Is it going to get in May, or is it going to get in July, or is it going to get in September, or is it going to get in November? How my fluctuations will kill my trade in options, and how would I do to be protected in a way? So, but you tell me, why Domino's? Why pizza? So it's something to think about. Domino's Pizza. Now you said, well, why are you looking at Domino's Pizza? Well, check this guy out. He added 86% more on it. So maybe he had something on it, and he said, now this why he will close the S&P 500. That's another thing. That will leave a sense to, oh, he doesn't. It's not that he doesn't believe that S&P 500 will produce good gains, but he will say, I rather stay diversified rather than in the market, because the market on average give you like 12% a year. It will say, I will get more if I go somewhere else. Now the cool thing is that Apple, he left it alone, and he hasn't touched that one, so it's good that he didn't reduce it, to see if it actually goes further. I was thinking that the futures was gonna get a hit out of that, and so far no hit. It's still there, and they're going strong by the minute because we open already, and it's there. So not sure like if this is, maybe Semp can help us out to see if futures are working right now, but that's the thing. I don't see any changes on that. So that's something to think about. And going into the Max 7s really quick, we know Google has been running a lot, but in the past few weeks, it was like, okay, I'm done with this run, and maybe the AI numbers are helping me, but this is a great spot to say, let me test this area, to see if I can do something. Remember, this is the season that it is a short season. Below the 34 on daily, look at that. That's a short season. If we have good memory, we say, I know who's there too. Bitcoin, right? Like I feel it because I trade Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies every single day, that I know that if you show me that momentum in the chart, you go like, that's a season, and I feel it, and we got that reaction from you guys. Yeah, you go. Future hasn't done much, but hey, Warren Buffett just sold the S&P 500 and said, nah, and he cut back in Bank of America, and he reduced some banks. Now on the banks, I kind of know because I've been working on them for quite some time that they do some stress test. They're probably not gonna pass. So he rather sells it now, and in the future when they crash, or maybe they don't do well, they go like, you see, I told you. He probably does stress test for them before they even produce the results. So this is our short season. We have the Google, going back to there, short season, right? We go Meta. Look at Meta, how different it is. Is it below here? No, it's booming. Meta has something. It's cooking very, very good. It's been on the swing trade up. Remember, swing trades up are above the T line, so this is beautiful. Those white candles, if you're wondering what are those are red candles starting from here and going down. Those are our white sharks, from the charts. So put in your positions around the white shark around here. It will give you, that's a strategy that we have, right? So that will give you some sort of upside. So we got Meta, we got Google, we got Amazon, which is stronger by the minute. But we have tiny short season, right, on the day below this, but it's not below the 34. So this might pull back on the next few days. This week might be looking how, yeah, look, it's not bad. It's there above the T line on the weekly, so it's not below the 34. So this is the T line when you show into the weekly, right? So we're still good. Amazon it's into, I check um one chart of the revenue from AWS from Amazon since 2000 and I think it was 2019 it was or something. Never goes down. It's a steep curve all the way up, never down, quarter over quarter. It's insane. So if you definitely want to put some money to work, Amazon it's one of those stocks. I mean you can tell that it never fails, right? So it just keeps going up. When you guys see charts like this is exactly when someone says the market always goes up. Well, because I'm looking it up from here. If I'm looking it up from here, they go like, no, market never go. It's not always, right? But since I'm looking at it from here, I can tell you with time, with patience, always goes up, right? Yeah. So the other one, Walmart, we've been on Walmart a lot. Graham pointed out that it was a huge breakout on the month of January, and look at how February hasn't been
Wow.
great. So that's that's a great cup and handle here,
Mm.
right? And if you think about it, and I know you guys out there that are elite students, they go, I see it, and I know how I would have taken that one, right? So it's right there. We know that it's going down, push back up to the 50, push back down again, and then break out. Buying in the 94, sell on the 99s or 100s, right? And that's our impulses. So imagine this impulse that they did, crazy move. I think on daily will look a little bit better. There you go. It's no brainer. And when you have those Y sharks there, like it's want to push more, but they sell it. That's exactly what you want. That's the Y shark move towards the T line, and then insane, right?
Last thing,
So,
I
well,
got after when you're
yeah.
done. Sorry, my bad.
No, go ahead. No, Walmart. I think I wanted to talk about Google, Walmart, Meta, and Domino's Pizza, which is, and then let's talk about your gem, man, that you have.
Yeah, before we get into that, so when a company's private, right, but you want to invest in a private company,
Yep.
they could sell shares to you via a accredited investor over the counter, right?
Yeah,
How
they
would
could.
how would you recommend going about that, or if that is even
No, I mean that's more like when you are part of a waterfall investment. So waterfall investment is more like there's always those Class A shares. Those are the big guys, and usually are Goldman Sachs, right? And then after that, it's 40, then another guy, and then another guy. And then you got the Class B, Class C, Class D shares, right? Usually, those Class D share guys, they don't make that much money because they didn't invest that much money. Imagine if you have a $50 million project, then you probably invested one. That's nothing compared to the whole thing. So you might get your million back, and I might double it, and you might get the common equity after
mm,
everything. So common equity is more like the change. You know, if there's any change, you get everything, and you're like, oh man, I hope is there's change. Goldman Sachs, no, there's no change.
mm,
It's like no, I put the 20 million, I'm gonna get double on that, and I'm gonna get on top of that another double. So if I put 20, I'm gonna get 60. And that's what like, come on, man, we're trying to make some money out here. It's like, yeah, but I'm putting 20 million and you're just putting five, and the other guy is just putting one.
mm.
So yeah, investing in stuff like that, it's always the big guy always wins. That's why when he goes to the public market, it's a little bit better, right? And
Mm.
getting to those IPOs, yeah.
So, guys, one company that I think you need to put on your radar and keep a lookout for when they do go public. I haven't been this excited about a company since Palantir. So that's saying a lot. Okay, that's saying a lot. However, Palantir is one of their big investors. Peter Thiel and Palantir. But who remembers Oculus Rift?
What is that?
The the VR headset back in the day that Facebook bought.
Oh, why you have like a company they do that? What, Turtle?
About to go to my little spiel. All right, so guys, today we're talking about Palmer Luckey. Palmer Luckey is the founder of Oculus, sold it to Facebook for a couple billion, and now Palmer Luckey is kind of like being on the forefront of defense technology, for our military, right? So his company Anduril started in 2017, and they've really been hitting the highlights lately for a number of things, right? For their latest biggest things, there are exoskeleton suits for soldiers, complete. He calls it IVAS, but it's a complete augmented reality for a soldier. You'll have these goggles on. You could see through walls. You could do a bunch of targeting. You could, and another cool thing too is is you'll have, say if you're a lone soldier, right? Or maybe in a squadron, you're going to have a team of drones following you around at all times that are communicating with you, that you can control, that are giving you just data while you're moving. It's so insane. He also, has created, and these are all in testing, by the way, autonomous submarines, autonomous fighter jets. He has an autonomous fighter jet coming out called Fury. Yeah, I mean, this Palmer Luckey guy, young guy, super, super, super bright. And, I think when this, I'm going to stay on top of this company and try to play their IPO or whatever. How would you go about an IPO, Blaster? I'm not familiar.
Yeah, well, IPOs, you need to know who's coming in on board. They do have their own time frame to sell. Some of them they cannot sell in the first 90 days of IPO. So some way he creates a sense of not be like what happened to this coins. Imagine if they put that rule, said you have 90 days to, you cannot sell. You know what I mean? So that leaves you to, hey, I need volatility will not be there in the first 90 days. So I'm okay. I can check if maybe how the people will embrace it,
Yeah.
the price, and then I can invest. But IPOs has some 90 days rules, and some investors cannot sell. But it's typical. A typical IPO is that it will sell off. It's typical because imagine you created a whole team and say, hey, can you invest? Can you invest? How much you gonna invest? And then you create a book. Everybody has a book and say, hey, can I sell it? It's like, no, you cannot sell it. But what if you put the price a little bit higher? So maybe I can sell it. Maybe that will be a rule. So usually it will just fall off. But we have our strategies in Stock Lock to be able to recognize when those things happen. So for example, the coolest one was Meta, and this is when we were, me and Arthur, we were looking at the strategies and say, hey, let's look at some past moments in history that it has happened before. And Meta was
just like airdrops and pre-sales for tokens. There's always a huge sell-off in the beginning.
But it's normal because you have so many people invested in it that they don't have to go by the rules. Maybe they're not class A, class Bs or class Cs. They're like, just like, hey, I put $1 million, so I'm gonna sell mine. So imagine if Stock and Log was alive in 2012. Look at how this Ichi move right here at 32 upside would have been, that we were waiting for that breakout right here. Oh, right here. I messed it up. Here. Right? Keep hitting the different one. So it's T. Right there. And sell it all the way up to, or actually what's a great point to get in? All the way up here.
Mm.
because you're waiting for that momentum to go, and that's what's happening. And if I apply these rules of the strategy that we have to buy here, that's exactly what we're trying to do with FTT right now in the moment right now. What's happening is it FTT? Should be this one, and then I go R, and then I go 15, and then I go R. Yeah, so it's basically something like what's happening. You see, just think about this didn't happen. This is where the pre-IPO comes in. Let me just put money, 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 and then at this point we're gonna sell.
Yeah.
It's not a rug pull. It's just it's little. Well, it's actually little like a rug pull. It's like I'm out. I'm already put it out there for the IPO, and what I'm gonna do is just I'm gonna wait to see how they get it, how it gets embraced, and this is what's happening on FTT at the moment, like going down and fighting this area. Said, what if I break this area? If I break this area, and that's what happened in cake as well. We did it great on cake. Look all the way up here.
Yeah.
So you see how this bullishness comes in. This is the bearishness on Google around here.
Mm.
Now, if it goes up, then I'll start like, whoa, 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 where are you going? Where are you going? Where are you going? You know, and we need to accept that um, prices need to go down to go up. We need to accept that, and the moment we accept it, that's when we become profitable, literally,
Yeah.
because we need to go down to go up. So yeah, we'll pay attention to this coin because I think that news that 40 just came up with FTX payments coming up this week might be drawing some liquidity to this name too. Might be
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. It could possibly. Yeah, for sure. I'm not. I'm not. I'm not saying if it's going to go into the FTT token, but there definitely will be liquidity in the market. Uh, what? But yeah, I mean, listen. Back to Androl. I'm excited for Androl. I truly think they're going to be the next big defense company out of the oligarchy of defense companies, right? Like you got Lockheed, Raytheon, Northrop Grumman, Honeywell, and then you're seeing Palantir go into there. And I truly solely believe that Androl is going to be putting itself in that next piece. And everyone knows, like, I mean, and historically, right, when there's startup defense tech companies that start up, there's a very famous graveyard that they have to get by to get past, and usually no one makes it out of that because of those big eight companies. But yeah, I truly think Androl is the next contender.
Cool, man. I know. I mean, I know this name, Turtle Beach, used to be called Here. They do a lot of the headphones
I used to
that
wear
they're
Turtle
out.
Beaches for video gaming.
There you go. So this is a cool pattern that we've known, and it is the bubble breakout, and it's when the price finds support and resistance between big EMAs. So this is a bubble breakout. So bubble breakout is going up and down between these two lines, and now it's breaking out into this month. So this can lead to a huge short squeeze all the way up to 23s or so around here, and hopefully it goes continue. But this area is kind of like where they want to go. It's called the bubble breakout. So this one
I
you can see it.
I didn't even know
It's
Turtle
like a
Beach was a public company.
Yeah, it used to be called Here. We traded a lot this months that they were like completely going nuts with Hattie. You remember Hattie?
Mm.
He loved this company Here. It used to be called Here. Now it's Turtle Beach. And if you go into Nintendo Switch, if you go to Target and it's like, oh, let me go to Nintendo Switch, all those headphones Nintendo Switch are Turtle Beach.
Who owns
So
Turtle
now
Beach now?
Um, I wonder who, but you know why I brought it up? Because you brought up
I think
the
Xbox literally owns them. or
Yeah, so
Microsoft.
so that way, if they can combine that virtual reality and headphones and all the stuff that they have, this might be going. This might be going to the upside. And the monthly looks a little bit clearer, but look at how daily it's giving you the ups,
Mm.
up and downs on around it. Weekly, it's giving you the U shape, that U shape.
You know,
So, it, which
a
what?
most likely contender to that piece too, probably Peltor. I'm not sure if Peltor is a public company or not. I don't know if you could search real quick, but Peltor makes you understand we're in combat, right? Um,
Mhm.
so they need a headset that is noise canceling and also like uh, is also hearing protection for you. And there's a few companies that make these headphones already or these headsets already for our soldiers, and I'm wondering if it's just going to implement into those. So you have like Peltor, and then you have who's the other one?
Is it Ryzen? Isn't it Ryzen? But that's Nvidia. Not sure
No,
which ones are those. But yeah,
Peltor. I forgot, but yeah, Peltor is a big one.
Razer. This one's
Oh no.
wonder. No, they're not. But yeah, that's my key points, man. And then the other one is the weekly watch list, and we go into what we could have for this week just to wrap it up. Um, we got SoFi. So SoFi is for this week. Look at how SoFi it's giving you the let me consolidate around this area. Huge momentum. And usually those momentums are met with negative news on those earnings, and the investors love those momentums when you are having a great retail moment, gap down on earnings, and then what happened? You come back to those earnings prices of drop. So this is coming up, and this could literally be a strategy. Put up when an earnings drops. Put up a line on where it started or where was the area that they traded, which it was this doji, and just wait until like we know like right here is super negative. Wait until see if he trades around that area, and when he trades around that area, then consider it towards the upside because they probably saw this as an overreaction of the earnings. Remember, earnings are just the investor sentiment and how they react to earnings. They could be such good earnings, but maybe we had a bad season at those days that maybe Fed was speaking, Trump was fighting, and everybody was in their mother thinking it's going to go down. But overreaction, companies are going to go down. Now, what SoFi can help is with loans, and that goes to the educational. Remember that Trump is saying, and not Trump, but the what is right now in office is saying we want to get that educational and get out of it and completely killed it. This SoFi, it's giving you the ability to say if you need any loans, we could be the next best thing,
Mm,
and you don't have to go crazy with student loans.
yeah.
We can help you. It's a better way. So they're in the middle of the fight, but they're making money. So they're like, we're here. You guys fight, but we're here. So SoFi never don't leave that behind. SoFi, it's a good name to watch this week. Maybe if he pulls up, and I'm thinking, and this is my reasoning that if if we get a little push around this area, we are fine. We are fine with this. We found ourselves between this liquidity,
Mm,
all this liquidity. So if we go here, we go all the way up really quick because there's so much liquidity. There's no transactions there to find to sell.
mm,
And so that's why those windows get closed. And Japanese were right. So this is a window to close.
mm. Okay.
That's a good one. And yeah, your PLTR is just nuts. completely nuts.
It's
And
only I don't understand it.
just keep adding, man. Keep adding. This is insane. I mean, we've talked about this a lot in the chat rooms, and we talk every other day in the chat rooms, but we talk every single day on Elite that this thing is when they start sleeping, it's a moment to add, man. This is a
Okay.
sleep fantastic, sleeping
Yeah.
like flying, not going down, just flying. And then the best moment, if you think about it, was just to add it around here, right? That was the moment, the best moment to add.
Do you
But
think it's overpriced?
that goes. I mean, to say right now, if I tell you right now, I'll be guessing. I will need to look at the pipeline. I will need to look at what revenues they do, and if and it's very very simple when you can see if something is overpriced and underpriced. And one of the ratios that you will use is the PE ratio. But
Yeah. Someone was
on the
talking to me
P
about the PA, and they said it was like stupid on Palantir.
There you go. So you can tell. So you compare them to others that they do similar. So for example, PE ratios for to compare AMD, Nvidia, or CMCI, all those semiconductors. You put them in a basket and say which one is your PEs, and if the average or the sector is, let's say, 20, and then they're all around that, but AMD is 40, you can say, well, AMD is overpriced. And that's when some of the misconceptions of new traders. Because when I say, for example, here on PLTR is $120, and I said Netflix, for example, just to be on a different size, Netflix is $1,000 a share. But if I compare the two based on the P ratio, I can tell you that PLTR is more expensive than Netflix. And
Mm-hmm.
new traders go like, "What do you mean more expensive? This is 1,000. The other is 120." Yeah, but it's based on P ratios that you can tell is it overpriced or underpriced. So the Netflix could be a very cheap stock compared to 120 PLTR, but it's based on P ratios.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, what I wanted to do something really quick on PLTR. All you got to do is go to macro trends, get those financials, and
Mm-hmm.
even like in not annual but quarterly, and see how they do. I mean, you don't even have to have the exact amounts, but look at how it goes on revenue 530. And let's put it this one: 530, 560, 610, 630, 680, 720. So you can tell the whole thing is going up, right? You're like, hey, revenues are going up. But
Mm-hmm.
to compare the revenues, you need to compare the cost and see how much it takes them to do the cost. Look at the cost of goods sold: 106, 107, 108. They're a little bit more in line, and now they're getting very pricey. So by what they're getting pricey is because they're spiking on the revenue too. But look at that, they were making more revenue with the same amount of cost. That's insane. So you could just say 2023, this is the moment to invest in Palantir because look, they're making so much revenue by
Mm-hmm.
the quarter, and but the cost is the same. It's just like producing more with the same amount of employees. You go like, this is insane. I mean, imagine if we get more employees, and good ones, of course. And you're like, we're gonna just knock it out of the park. And that operating expense as well. So the operating expense is basically what you get on revenue, and then the operating that to make to open the store, right? Check out the operating income, right? So based on this revenue, it had 40, 60, 80, 105, 113. So it's kind of like in line in the last 3 years, but it's not going down. My margin on this one for Palantir, it's definitely something positive. It's a 16%. Look at 10% on the operating margin. Profit is 16. Operating is 10. The benchmark of the best company in the world is Apple, and Apple is 19%.
Mm.
So 10%, it's not that great, but it's insanely good. You know, it's a company that makes money. It's not under the water.
Yeah.
Now, if you compare it, and I know you guys were talking about like SPX, and I'm waiting for SPX to go out. Well, what happened with companies like that, for example, this guy, Virgin Galactic, they don't have the money that Elon has, and all the tests that they've been doing. They went public right away. Why? Because they needed money. Look at how the margin on this one, operating margin, is minus 3,938%. So that's basically for every dollar they make, they need to pay $3,900. Makes no sense to open the store.
What the hell? They're
bankrupt.
bankrupt.
Exactly. So they're just completely under the water. And you said, well, that could be a really bad stock. Yes, it is. Right?
Wow.
That's why it is what it is on the number. It is here. So sometimes a fundamental analysis is good as well. You can start from the numbers and say, dude, this company must be really, really good. Look at the revenue, look at the cost, look at the operational margin. There's no litigations, there's no problems. These guys might go and completely run, and then you have those momentums to the upside. They could be doing something good. That they were doing something so bad in this side, and then right here we shift. We got new CEOs, new CFOs. Let's get it, guys. Boom, and that's what makes a good company.
That's awesome.
Yeah, man. All right, let's wrap it up.
Yeah, well, guys, it was a little bit of a long one, but I appreciate everyone that stuck around. There was a lot of good information in this one for sure. Guys, listen, we're in a very peculiar part of the market right now. Just stay safe. And you know what to do. You know what's best for you. And I'll say it again, don't chase the dragon. Stay in your lane, put the blinders on, and do what you like. Focus on one thing and get super good at it. Peace, y'all.
Yeah, man. Peace, man. You know it was going to be a long one because I was in it, man. Sorry. All right.